welcome back to Friends by Film. I'm one of the hosts here, Daniel Polidoro.
And I'm Tyler Pacholski. Thanks for joining us tonight. What do we got, Daniel?
We've got a big announcement, big clarification from Jon Favreau. The Book of Boba Fett is going to be a standalone series. They are filming right now, and it looks like Mandalorian Season 3 will be filming shortly after the Book of Boba Fett wraps. So, Tyler, what do you think about having two series on Disney Plus, two Star Wars series on Disney Plus, possibly airing at the same time?
Well, first and foremost, I know we talked about how we were just debating, is this going to be Season 3 of the Book of Boba Fett? Because The Mandalorian has segmented itself into chapters. Right. So naturally, with the clarification, I'm super excited. Christmas came early today.
Definitely.
I'm not as big of a fan of Boba Fett, a character in the Star Wars universe. I know there's a huge following of people who love Boba Fett, and I think that those people are probably a lot more excited than I am. I'm super curious to see where we're going to go in the Star Wars universe with Boba Fett, regardless of what you think of his character.
Right.
I think that the underworld component of the Star Wars universe, the seediness, has yet to be fully explored, and that's what excites me. What is Boba Fett going to be like as he, takes the throne of this crime world? At least, where we're seeing him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Are we going to see some of those bounty hunters that were with him in Empire show up? Are we going to see possibly Lando show up? Are we going to see Chewbacca, Han Solo? Is he going to get revenge? Is he out for revenge against those two?
That would be interesting.
I don't know how they do it, but they could bring back Alden, right? Or that was his name from Solo?
Aldenric, I think. Can't remember his first name.
They could bring back young Han Solo, maybe. I don't know how they do a Han Solo, but it's possible that Boba could want revenge. I also like the showdown with the Marshal. I forgot his name. Timothy Olyphant, but yeah.
Timothy Olyphant's character. Yeah, I think you suggested that.
I did, yes, last episode.
Yeah. I don't know if I want that. I really like Timothy Olyphant. I hope if there is a duel, he makes it. I think that would be a very interesting and cool pair up between the two if they did end up doing that.
What's interesting too is The Mandalorian Season 2 seems like they had two soft pilots in the season with the Ahsoka stuff and now the Boba Fett, because they brought back Robert Rodriguez for this show, The Book of Boba Fett. So I'm really excited about that. We might get some Danny Trejo.
Yeah, some machete action.
Yeah.
Who else could you think we could be seeing? Maybe some Salma Hayek. Maybe some George Clooney.
I think
some Antonio Banderas.
That would be sweet. We might get even Sylvester Stallone. I could see that maybe.
Yeah.
They got Apollo Creed. Why not Rocky? So.
There you go. Yeah, bring in some more 80s actors, or I shouldn't say 80s actors, but actors that are well known for their 80s films. I'm excited. Like I said, I know that there is a lot of people that are more excited than I am. I'm intrigued with the aspect of the continuous expansion of the Star Wars universe. That's something we've been really wanting, and I think that Boba Fett would be a great entry point into that world.
And it's cool too because Fennec's back too. She'll be there with him. So
yeah, we saw her last take a swig of that kind of blue drink. I'm not a big fan of her character. She has yet to be fully developed, and that's totally fine. I think Jon Favreau and company had the task of really delivering the Mandalorian the way it ended up being, and I'm very pleased with it. And so I'm curious to see her character progression and just what she brings to the table as well.
Yeah, when we saw on Typhon that the two of them paired up, so I'd like to see them together more and kind of develop that relationship. Is it business? Is it personal? Is it all the above? How did they have a past? Obviously, what is that past? So it's I'm curious too. What's going to happen in that show? I'm really excited.
Do you think that this is going to be a continued series, or do you think this is a limited event?
I think it's going to be I think it's gonna be like a wait and see.
I also agree with you on
right
that.
now. I don't think they have enough material to do like multiple seasons of the Book of Boba Fett, but I think it's definitely gonna have a crossover to Mandalorian and Rangers and Ahsoka. I think they're all gonna all 4 shows are gonna cross over into this big main event when they all become to an end. They come to a head, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it up to to Favreau and Filoni to figure that out.
And Robert Rodriguez.
Exactly. So bringing him on, that seems like it's going to be his show, maybe, or he might be like the head writer.
Mm-hmm.
And then Filoni has the Oscar, and then Favreau has, all Mandalorian and Rangers, maybe. Or
yeah. No, I think going forward, yes, Jon Favreau has just got his, he's going to have to just really compartmentalize, and I think he's selecting someone like Robert Rodriguez as a fellow executive producer to manage that. I think that would be really good in his wheelhouse. What before we get to Mandalorian season 3, what are you hoping to see in the Book of Boba Fett? Is there anything in particular that you're hoping to see?
I'm anxious to see, like I said, the underground, how that works. Is it like spices? What are they going to be dealing with? Are we going to get the cool bounty hunters? Which kind of characters are we going to come up with? Is it a revenge mission? I have a lot of questions, like where they're going to go as far as the focus of Boba Fett, since he's taken over, right? He's kind of like, that's his throne now.
I think the statement and the way that particular final sequence was composed, him sitting on the throne, kicking the deceased Bib Fortuna, I think that definitely sends a message that rings, hey, I'm here to stay and I'm here to rule this part of the galaxy. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to, and again, that I think is just a testament to the wondrous, magicry of things like ILM and Weta shops, is I'm hoping we see a hut, man. Now, the last time we saw a hut, we saw Jabba, and I would be curious to see kind of how those types of that species or that the type of character might be implemented.
Man, maybe you know what, Tyler? Maybe that's who he's got revenge on, is the Hutts.
He probably does.
The Hutt family.
I mean, Jabba's deceased at this particular point in time, but who's to say that there are other Hutts in line?
Yeah. I mean, and I know George Lucas had a bunch of scripts for like an Underworld series. So I
would love it.
I pull from that at all. It's exciting. Let us know what you guys think out there below. And our next topic is M. Night Shyamalan, reportedly from comicbook.com, has talked to DC and Marvel about possibly a movie. It's not really, it's kind of just like a speculation at this point, but I just thought it was a cool article on comicbook.com. Tyler, I know you're a big Shyamalan fan. What say you about this?
Well, yes. So you know me well enough to know that Shyamalan is a dearing part in my heart. I love his earlier films, his first 3 feature films that he directed: The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs. He did go through a period of time where as much as I love Shyamalan, kind of went a little bit off the mark for me, but he's definitely regained some traction, and he's definitely finding more comfort in his wheelhouse with things like, Glass, Split, The Visit, which was a surprise for me. I'm excited. I think Shyamalan, not perfect, he is really good at exploring the psyche of people, the struggles that people go through, not only in relationship with others, but just even personally. There's a lot of that deep, kind of dark, brooding sense of conflict and struggle. And I think that Shyamalan could definitely use that in a superhero film.
Which label do you see him under? I see him more of a DC guy myself.
Okay. So I'm going to answer this question as, where do I see him under, and then where do I want, what particular character I want to see him. So
I'll do
the
the
first
same
thing, I also believe that he would probably not that he wouldn't do well with Marvel, but I think that DC is a little bit more darker.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be able to play in that sandbox, and I would love. Granted, we have yet to see Matt Reeves' upcoming The Batman. I would love to see M. Night Shyamalan tackle The Batman with any particular storyline that has to deal with Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne is a character who struggles with identity. I mean, he's Batman at night, or by day if needed. He's Bruce Wayne, and so seeing that struggle, and I think there's a lot of rogues gallery in that particular world where, what about Hush? Maybe we can see a cinematic exploration of Hush.
That'd be cool.
He could tackle characters like, I don't know. I'd like to see a Clayface in a feature film.
Oh my God, that animated episode, those 2 episodes are great.
Dude, yeah. I mean, you could take any of the the OG original, the animated shows, and you could just not assign, but Shyamalan could play in that world, that Gotham City, and I think it would be incredible to see if done right with the right story.
Exactly.
I think Shyamalan has so much talent, and if he finds the right story, the right through line, it's going to be great. So that's personally where I would hope he would find himself attached to in terms of a superhero or villain.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think DC would suit him the most. They've done some rated R movies with the Harley Quinn and Joker. They've taken some risks, and I think Shyamalan's a risk taker. And it doesn't always land, but he does take a lot of nice risks. I do appreciate that about his movies. Mm-hmm. I think I'm with you, man. I'm in the Batman verse, but I would go Nightwing. I think it'd be cool to see like a Nightwing movie or something by M. Night Shyamalan, or Mr. Freeze.
Yes. I was thinking in terms of the Rogues Gallery. Mr. Freeze would be excellent. Nightwing with Dick Grayson. We haven't seen a cinematic version of Dick Grayson yet. Well, at least as Nightwing. So we did see Chris O'Donnell. We can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think M. Night Shyamalan would be an excellent choice for anything Gotham City wise. I'd be very curious. I'm not as up to date with a lot of comics, but if you were to go on the Marvel side, I don't think they've announced anybody attached to this yet, I don't think. But Moon Knight, that's a character in the Marvel wheelhouse who struggles with dissociative identity disorder. However, that might be a little bit too on the nail considering his last couple films, Split and Glass, where you have the character Kevin Wendell Crumb as someone who's struggling with dissociative identity disorder. So might be a little bit too much on the head, but I could see that happening too.
Marvel, I would say maybe like a Doctor Doom. I don't know. I would say more of a villain for Marvel. Maybe he'll come in as a producer even on a show or something. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm curious to see, with the right character and project, but I do see him under DC with you, and specifically in that Gotham City universe. I think that'd be
and they're
great.
doing the Gotham PD on HBO, which is a year before the Batman in that same universe. So I wonder, depending on where the Batman goes, I mean, he could even do like maybe if Penguin survives or something, or Riddler, he could do a spin-off movie of the villains or something. There's so many possibilities with this, which is a fun topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I know DC right now is strictly cinematic for the most part. I mean, there hasn't been so much of a meshing of the two yet, and I think going forward we're going to see a lot more series. Star Wars, a big IP property, or a big IP as it is, it's starting to move in the direction of streaming. What's to say that Shyamalan's already working with Apple Plus or Apple TV to produce a show called Servant? And so
really? I didn't know that.
So he's in the second season of that. I haven't seen the first one, but I can see Shyamalan also just taking the helms of a TV series, working in a particular sandbox in the DC universe.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that HBO Max, DC, Warner Brothers, they're going to start doing more of the streaming shows too, in response to Disney Plus with the Marvel and all the Star Wars shows coming. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. What do you guys think about out there? What do you guys think about M. Night Shyamalan talking to Marvel and DC? Do you guys have any predictions, any thoughts? let us know below.
Absolutely.
Tyler, you had some shout outs. I know we're getting close on Facebook. The link below on Facebook, Friends by Film, you can go there and check out our videos and our posts. We have a Christmas special coming up tomorrow night. But Tyler, you had some shout outs.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Vicente Gomez. Thank you for your clarification on the updated news. We always appreciate our conversations regarding Star Wars. Heather Jernigan, thank you so much for your feedback. Michelle Smith, and to everybody else who has yet to respond, who we haven't responded to, thank you again for following us. Again, our mission is to talk about films, build community, and so definitely want to hear more from you guys. Let us know if there's a question or a topic you'd like for us to discuss on a future episode. Daniel, where can they find you?
At PoliPictures on Twitter, Instagram, all the above, man.
Awesome.
What about you, Tyler?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Tyler_Pacholski, Pacholski. You can find me there on Twitter. And again, we can talk on our Facebook page, Friends by Film.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
And stay tuned.
Stay tuned.